I was inspired by a macrame Christmas ornament on Pinterest for the design of this Christmas tree. It is a super quick project that requires relatively very little in supplies. You could use it as an ornament for your tree or a way to spruce up your gift wrapping. You could even make it into a wall hanging by using a larger hook, thicker yarn, and larger wooden beads and rings. Stay tuned! You can use this pattern to make this little ornament like I did here. It's just the right size for your tree, or you could use it to embellish your gift wrapping, or you could use a thicker yarn, a larger hook, and larger beads. I used 20mm beads here, a 2-inch ring, and Lion Brand Thick and Quick, and it made a wall hanging. It's not a huge wall hanging, but it's still really cute. It would make a really cute gift. But today I'm going to show you how to make this one. For the ornament, you will need Comfy Cotton Blend if you want to make it just like mine. It is a size 3 yarn. You could also realistically use a size 4 yarn, or like I did here. This is actually a super bulky weight yarn, so it's not imperative, but if you want an ornament size, you do want to keep it around 3 or 4. I also wanted to show you this one. I made this using double strands of crochet thread. It's a size 3 yarn. This is actually Knit Picks or We Crochet, crochet.com, Curio. And this one, I wanted it to look a little bit more like macrame, so I added the 1-inch ring at the top. And it's really cute. But since most people don't have access to these rings and whatnot, I'm going to show you how to make one without the ring today. If you are interested in where I got my supplies, it will be listed in the description box below. First thing we're going to do is grab 4 of these 8mm beads. You do want them to be small. I wouldn't go any bigger than a 10mm bead. You want it to be proportional. And then you're going to thread those beads onto your working yarn before we get started. So go ahead and put 4 beads onto your working yarn. And go ahead and make your slip knot. Today I'm going to be using an F 3.75mm hook. Begin by chaining 12 somewhat loosely. You don't want it to be too tight. The tree is worked from the bottom to the top point, so you don't want it curling up on itself because your stitches are too tight. So turn your work so that the back bumps are facing upward. Skip the stitch that is closest to your hook and make a slip stitch into that second chain from your hook. We're going to gradually increase in size, so in the next stitch, place a single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. In the next 2 stitches, we are going to do a double crochet. Now you can see that it is slowly increasing in size. In the next stitch, we are going to do what I am going to refer to as a beaded V-stitch. That is 2 treble crochet separated by a bead. So I'm going to make a treble crochet, and I'm going to slide one of the beads up to my hook until it is right against it. And then I'm going to chain 1 in order to secure that bead in place. Now I'm going to make 1 more treble crochet in that same chain stitch. And now we begin decreasing in size. So in the next 2 stitches, we're going to place 1 double crochet, in the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet, in the next stitch, a single crochet, and finally a slip stitch. This is how your piece should look. Even though this is technically the wrong side of our stitches, this is going to be the front side of our project. So the bead will kind of naturally go forward if you did it how I told you. Now we're going to start the next row, so you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Skip the stitch that is closest to your hook. Make a single crochet in the next stitch. Now chain 4. We are going to skip the next 3 stitches and place 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip over the bead, and put 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 4, skip the next 3 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch. This is what your piece should look like. Now we will chain 1 and turn. We are going to be working into the 3 skipped stitches down 2 rows below. So we will push that chain 4 forward out of our way and work to these 3 stitches here. So push the chain 4 forward and place a slip stitch, then a single crochet, and then a half double crochet. Now we will go back to working into the row below. We are going to be working into those 2 stitches there. And we are going to be working into the front loop only of those stitches. So place 1 double crochet in the front loop only in each of those single crochet. Now it is time to do another beaded V-stitch. We are going to be putting that in the chain 1 space between the 4 single crochet. So in that chain 1 space, make 1 treble, then grab your bead and put it right up against your hook. Chain 1 to secure the bead, and place 1 more treble crochet in the same chain space. Now we are going to make 1 double crochet through the front loop only in each of the 2 single crochet. And we are going to make the next stitches in the stitches down below, so push that chain 4 forward and place 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, then a single crochet in the next stitch, and a slip stitch in the last one. This is what your piece should look like. So we're going to chain one and turn. Skip the stitch that is closest to your hook and single crochet in the next stitch. Now chain 4. Skip the next 3 stitches. Place 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1. Skip over the bead and make 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 4. Skip the next 3 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch. Again, this is what your piece should look like. Chain 1 and turn. We're going to work in those 3 skipped stitches, 2 rows below, so push that chain forward. Slip stitch, single crochet, and half double crochet. We're going to work into the front loops only of the 2 single crochet following. So place 1 double crochet in the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. Now it's time for another beaded V-stitch. We're going to put it in that chain 1 space just above the bead below. That is a treble crochet, followed by a bead. So push the bead right up against your hook. Chain 1 and place 1 more treble crochet in the same space. Now in the next 2 stitches, we're going to make 1 double crochet in the front loop only. Push the chain 4 forward and work into the 3 skipped stitches below. We're going to half double crochet, then single crochet, and finally slip stitch. We are going to do those last 2 repeating rows one more time. So chain 1 and turn. Skip the stitch closest to your hook and single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 4, skip 3. Make 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip over the bead. Make 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 4, skip 3, single crochet in the next stitch. So now we will chain 1 and turn, working into the stitches that we skipped. We will slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and then working into the single crochet above, we are going to double crochet through the front loops only. Now we will make our last beaded V-stitch in the chain 1 space directly above the bead below. That is a treble crochet, followed by the bead, chain 1, treble crochet. Now we will do a double crochet through the front loop only of the next 2 single crochet. Push the chain 4 forward and work into the 3 skip stitches, half double, single, and a slip stitch. Now this is what your piece should look like. We are nearly done. We're going to make it more of a point. So we're going to do a little bit of decreasing. Chain 1 and turn. Skip the stitch closest to your hook and slip stitch into the next stitch. Now single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 3, skip 2. Make 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip over the bead and make 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 3, skip 2, and single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Push the chain 3 forward and work into the 2 skipped stitches. Single crochet into those 2 stitches. Then we are going to skip the first single crochet and work into the next. So in the second single crochet, we're going to single crochet, and then in the chain 1 space, we are going to work 2 double crochet. Followed by a chain 3 space, and then 2 more double crochet. Place 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next single crochet and work into the 2 skipped stitches below. So push that chain 3 forward, single crochet into those 2 stitches. Now we're going to make it more defined and add our hanging loop. So we've got 1 more row. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Skip the stitch that is closest to your hook. Slip stitch loosely into the next 4 stitches. Slip stitch into the chain 3 space. Now we're going to do our hanging loop. I chain 20. You can chain more or less if you would like a bigger or a smaller loop. Now once again, slip stitch into the chain 3 space, and working your way back down the other side, you're going to slip stitch loosely into the next 4 stitches. Now you will fasten off. Go ahead and weave in those tails. Now we're going to add a bead to the top. This is really not necessary, but I like it. So I'm using a size B hook and a 12mm bead. Put the bead on the hook and then just snag that hanging loop and pull it through to the other side. You could glue it in place if you would like to secure it. Now we're going to add a tassel to the bottom, just like on this one. I just used my fingers, but you could use a piece of cardboard that's 4 inches wide. I'm going to wrap my fingers 8 times. Now set those to the side. I do use a size J hook for this. I think that's a 6mm hook. Go from back to front. Fold your tassel tails in half. And this is technically the lark's knot if you're familiar. We're going to pull it through. This is another reason why you need to crochet loosely on that beginning chain. And then grab all of those tails and pull it through to the other side. Now I'm going to cut my tails to make them even. You could also treat them if you wanted to with fray check. Now if you'll notice, your tree is a little flimsy. That kind of drove me nuts, so I actually added felt to the back of mine. I just hot glued it on there. You could also probably use fabric stiffener or something like that, but it works just fine to use felt. And it is completed. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching.